If you own multiple dental practices or you're planning to scale, there's one financial mistake we see growing dental groups make repeatedly, and it quietly reduces profitability as the organization grows. It's not overspending, it's not marketing, it's not even payroll by itself. It's expanding revenue without protecting your profit margin. Today, I'll explain why this happens and how it impacts growing dental groups and how to avoid it before it reduces your profitability. As dental groups grow, production increases, new providers are added, there are more operatories, there are additional locations, higher total revenue, and the revenue growth feels like progress. But here's the issue. Revenue growth can hide lower profitability. Many growing groups focus heavily on top-line expansion while gradually losing control of overhead percentages, dental supply ratios, location-level profitability, and consolidated EBITDA trends. Because revenue is rising, leadership assumes the organization is getting stronger. But if EBITDA margins shrink from 19% to 16%, that's not strength, that's dilution. At group scale, a 3 to 5% margin shift is significant. This is the most common financial mistake growing dental practices make, confusing growth with profitability. Let's simplify this using realistic group level economies. Imagine a dental group operating at 80% overhead, 20% EBITDA margin. That's a healthy range for many multi-location groups. Now the group expands, revenue increases, another location opens, payroll layers increase, but overhead gradually increases to 85%. That's only a 5% increase in overhead, but from 20% margin to 5% margin is meaningful. The 5% decrease affects debt coverage, cash reserves, reinvestment capacity, leadership hiring, future acquisitions, and owner distributions. Revenue may look impressive, but profitability per dollar is weaker. Growth without margin protection creates fragility. Margin stability creates scalability. Let's explore why this happens. This decrease in margin happens for three main reasons. Number one, complexity increases. More locations mean more payroll variables, more supply ordering, more management layers. Without standardized financial reporting, inefficiencies compound quickly. Number two, reporting isn't standardized. If location financials aren't structured consistently, payroll percentages aren't comparable, dental supply ratios aren't clear, lab expenses may be categorized differently, overhead trends are harder to detect. Without clean, standardized reporting, you cannot protect your profit margin intentionally. Number three, revenue feels like success. Revenue growth is visible, margin erosion is subtle. It happens slowly. And because EBITDA remains positive, leadership assumes everything's fine. But if profit margin slowly declines year over year, the organization becomes more vulnerable, especially in slower economic cycles. Let's look at an example. Let's compare two dental groups. Group A, EBITDA margin starts at 20%, expands aggressively, reviews revenue consistently, does not closely monitor overhead trend changes. Payroll percentages slowly increases across locations. Within 18 to 24 months, overhead rises to 85%. EBITDA drops to 15%. Revenue is higher than ever, but financial pressure increases. Debt feels heavier, cash feels tighter, expansion becomes stressful. Group B, EBITDA margin starts at 20%, expands strategically, reviews location level margin monthly, tracks payroll percentage carefully, standardizes reporting across all offices, maintains consolidated visibility. As they grow, the margins still remain around 20%. Revenue increases, but margin stability remains intact. The difference isn't ambition, it's financial discipline. Here is what growing groups should monitor monthly. If you operate a multi-practice dental group, review these monthly. Consolidated group EBITDA margin, overhead percentage trends, payroll as a percentage of revenue, dental supply and lab percentages, month-over-month margin movement, not just revenue. If revenue grows but EBITDA drops, that's not strong growth, that's diluted efficiency. Healthy growth protects profit margin. Unstructured growth decreases it. Here is the executive mindset shift. Single location operators often focus on production. Multi-location leaders focus on margin sustainability. Revenue builds activity, margin builds organizations. As your dental practice group grows, your financial focus must shift from how much are we producing to how efficiently are we operating at scale. That shift protects long-term stability. Here's what I will take away from this video. The most common financial mistake growing dental practice groups make is prioritizing revenue growth over EBITDA protection. If your margin is in the 20% range, protecting it is critical. Even a 3 to 4% decrease can significantly impact your stability. If you want sustainable, scalable growth, protect EBITDA margin. Standardize reportings, monitor overhead trends, detect inefficiencies early, expand only when margins are stable. Growth magnifies systems. Strong margins support expansion. Weak margins create stress. Clear numbers create clarity. Clarity protects profitability. Profitability funds intelligent growth. If you're operating multiple dental practice locations or planning to expand, margin discipline should be central to your financial strategy. On this channel, we focus on helping dental practice owners build the financial clarity required to scale intelligently and profitably. If this was helpful, subscribe. Clear numbers, better decisions, and higher profits for dental practice owners. I'll see you in the next video.